Bob Dylan's journey from a struggling newcomer to a defining voice of his generation did not begin smoothly. His debut album fell flat, selling poorly and leaving many in the music industry questioning the judgment of John Hammond, the Columbia Records executive who had signed him. Critics dismissed Dylan as a failed experiment, but Hammond refused to back down. He believed Dylan had something unique, and time would prove him right. In April 1962, Dylan stepped back into Columbia Studio A in New York City with a determination to create something different. Over the next 12 months, he worked on what became the freewheelin' Bob Dylan. Unlike his first album, which leaned heavily on borrowed folk standards, this new record featured Dylan's own songs. They touched on urgent political issues, sharp satire, and tender expressions of love. The variety gave the album a richness that resonated deeply with listeners and set Dylan apart as a songwriter whose words mattered. For many, this was the moment he emerged as the voice of a generation, even though he himself resisted that title. The album's cover also played a powerful role in shaping Dylan's image. It showed him arm in arm with his girlfriend, Suze Rotolo, walking casually through a cold New York street. Nothing about it felt staged. The natural, spontaneous feel of the photo gave it a sense of authenticity that stood apart from the polished album covers of the era. It became a visual statement as influential as the songs it represented. One track, Don't Think Twice, It's All Right, revealed Dylan at his most vulnerable.
And it ain't no use in turning on your light, babe.
He wrote it after Rotolo left for Italy, framing the lyrics as if he had been the one left behind. The song carried both resignation and defiance, delivered with a conversational honesty that made it sound like a private confession. While he borrowed its melody from Paul Clayton's Who's Gonna Buy You Ribbons When I'm Gone, Dylan transformed it into something deeply personal. At first, the song appeared only as the B-side of Blowin' in the Wind, but it quickly took on a life of its own. By the mid-1960s, recording a Dylan song had become almost a rite of passage for artists across genres. Joan Baez, Peter, Paul and Mary, and Bobby Darin brought it early attention, with Peter, Paul and Mary even pushing it into the Billboard Top 10. Soon, country stars, pop singers, and rock musicians added their own versions, from Johnny Cash to Cher, from Dolly Parton to Elvis Presley. Each rendition revealed the song's remarkable adaptability and broad emotional reach. Years later, Dylan reflected on the freewheelin' with pride. He spoke of the joy he felt in releasing a collection that carried his own voice, rather than leaning on traditional songs. The album gave him space to experiment, blending talking blues, protest anthems, and heartfelt ballads. More than just a record, it was the turning point that marked Dylan's transformation from an ambitious folk singer into a cultural figure whose music shaped the sound of a generation. The freewheelin' Bob Dylan secured his place not just in music history, but in the story of American culture itself.